Well, I think it was about 15 years ago, wasn't it, that we became aware of German Village. And since we didn't have any idea of moving into the area, we came down and we noticed an ad for this building in the paper, bought it, and then soon after purchased a laundromat. At one point, we decided to expand the laundromat just a little bit. Well, we found that it had been a grocery store before, and we couldn't change the zoning to a laundromat, so we opened up one day with $1,000 worth of groceries and decided that we would move as the customers asked us to move. And people would say, well, why don't you have this or why don't you have that? And so we just started expanding and grew into this type of general store.
I mean, the first time I ever went to the store, I tripped over a big box of doorknobs. I mean, they would sell anything. They had a wicker coffin that people would buy and then bring back, and they'd sell it again. But I mean, it was just this quirky place, and they were just as quirky as it was.
I remember early in my living down here that we were going to have a picnic with my children out in the park. It rained. And I said, well, we need a red checkered tablecloth and we need some ants. So I went down to House for Alhaven. Getting the tablecloth was pretty easy, but lo and behold, under the counter, Fred also had bags of plastic ants.
We hit greeting cards. We found that was the gold mine.
Howard loved the greeting cards.
As our sign said, don't expect this to be a Hallmark greeting store, because we went from the sublime to the ridiculous to the obscene. We had a reputation throughout the city as having the best damn cards in town.
Our inventory is taken by the residents that live in the area. We close to the public on New Year's Day, and last year, for example, 45 customers came in and took our inventory for us. And that kind of gives them an interest. They feel that this is their store. So I think that's a good feeling for the area.
One day they asked me to be on the board of the German Village Society, and I said, Howard, if we're running a store, can I do this? And he said, go ahead. And so I became president of the society. We had a $1 million capital campaign. We started the Village Valuable Sale. We only did that because we didn't want people having yard sales when we're trying to show off beautiful homes.
Tell us how pre-tours got started and how that's different.
Well, and this was a Fred and Howard idea. They said, well, a lot of museums have pre-openings and charge extra for it. Why can't we do a pre-tour where the people would be able to go through the house and maybe even the second floor?
Biggest job was starting the Oktoberfest and raising $100,000 a year for Oktoberfest for German Village. The first weekend we did it, we didn't have lights in the ticket booths. We didn't have anybody come and get the money, and it was all over the floor of the ticket booth. We were knee deep in money. A wonderful feeling.
One of my favorite memories of that very first event, because it was such an overwhelming success that no one believed was possible, was late in the evening. I watched Fred Holdridge go into one of the ticket booths, put all of the money into the front of his shirt, and he carried his shirt brought it up to his chest like this to take the money over to where they were counting the cash, because it was just, they were taking money in so fast, the dollars were just floating to the floor of the booth. They couldn't keep track of it.
We asked the city not to put any more blacktop down after we got started. And they said, okay, and that was fine. But they didn't say anything about fixing the streets. So we kept asking them to fix the streets, and they wouldn't.
So what we decided to do to dramatize the situation, and we did this very strategically.
Right across the street from Lindy's, there was a huge pothole, and we planted a tree in it at noon when Lindy's was busy, when we managed to have the press there and TV cameras, and so it was a great public event. And then to make matters worse for the city, Gisela said, let them eat bricks. She was the service director. Well, she regretted that statement.
On a Saturday, we decided that a few of us would just get together and pick a small spot in a street and fix it ourselves. Then we heard that the city was going to come out that Saturday, and they had heard that we were going to do this, and they were going to come out with trucks and crews and cement mixers and the whole routine. And it was sort of Gisela saying, well, let's see just how much these people care about their streets. So we realized that we had to get a crew out.
I thought to myself, this is amazing. We're in the neighborhood where you not only have to rehab your house, you have to also rehab the sidewalks in the street.
After that, the city council decided that they would pass, and it was a nominal sum. It was like $50,000 or $60,000 a year to fix brick streets, not just in German Village, but to maintain them in other parts of the city.
Fred used to say also that it was important to do good, but you had to have fun doing it. And he always made these kinds of things not only, I mean, it was civil disobedience, it was also fun.
Everybody knew that they were gay partners, and it didn't matter. Their friends were all kinds of people, and they became like a model for this community to be open and to just care about people regardless of age or background.
They met at a bar. Fred had just broken up with another friend, and Fred went out that night to get a drink. And it was a gay bar, and he explained to me how they moved around in Chicago. He gave me lots of wonderful little tidbits about, gay life at that time. And Howard walked in. I guess their gaze just met, and they started talking, and one thing led to another. They ended up on kind of a lover's lane in Howard's brand new Oldsmobile convertible.
The night I met Howard, we were both arrested and blackmailed, fortunately, because if we had been arrested and sent to court, that would have been the ends of our jobs. So paying a $100 fine, whereas the policeman really wanted Howard's new convertible, he settled for $100, but that $100 saved us from going to jail.
They really made it seem okay for a lot of people in the community, and I know many people they supported, when it was so difficult to come out, which it's still not as easy as it should be, but it's still, and I really think that stories like that are kind of the spirit of Fred and Howard that infused the village.
On our 50th year together, the Columbus Dispatch asked us if we would come out, quote, come out publicly. Now I presume by that time most people knew we were gay, but the word gay had never been said to anybody other than another gay person as far as I was concerned. Mm-hmm. So we came out in the Dispatch, and of course nothing happened. We went along just like we were, but it was a hell of a lot easier life.
They were characters. They always tried to keep us busy and always tried to think of ways to bring us together a little bit more closely.
I remember early on when I moved to the village, I heard this. I was woken up early in the morning. Fred was on the back of a truck with a bullhorn, making everybody get up to go get their picture taken in Schiller Park. And he was just waking up the entire village.
They were community activists too.
Oh, far more than activists. They played the trombones, the trumpets, beat the drums, all over. There was nobody in Columbus, particularly downtown and in City Hall, that did not know and generally respect Fred and Howard.
I can only hope to, what shall I say, emulate the kind of impact and the kind of shared generosity toward the community that was modeled by Fred and Howard, and by a lot of early residents of the village that kind of picked up that idea of community and created something that was more than just, the brick streets and the brick sidewalks.
They were absolutely the most amazing characters you'll ever meet. They put life at that time into this village. We had the structure, but Fred and Howard both felt that this should be a fun community.